the feminine side. The standpoint. Still listen to the feminine side. The standpoint.
Hello there and welcome to the Standpoint. I hope you've enjoyed the month of March on the Standpoint so far. Well, we brought you different women, corporate, traditional, and what have you. Today, I'm about to unleash onto you an amazing young woman who's a neurosurgeon. Yes, you heard me right. A neurosurgeon. She's based in China, but she's hoping to come back home to come and do something amazing for the people of Ghana and indeed Africa. I call her Dr. Isabella. Her journey to become who she is today is an amazing journey. The stories you'll be amazed. We'll hope that there won't be tears today. But she is a woman of power and of influence, and she's determined to make sure that she becomes that role model that your daughter can look up to and say that I can also make it, irrespective of whatever is thrown at me. Well, let me say thank you to Habarata Fabrics for my tie and dye lace. Thank you so much to her. My dress is by Bri Dua. Thank you as always. And of course, my beads, Tweeny Crafts. You know it already. I was waiting for you to say it. Tweeny Crafts, thank you so much. And of course, I braid my hair, this beautiful hair, at Auntie Alice Scales Training at Chado behind the trade fair. Thank you so much to all of them for making sure that I look good. And of course, my makeup by HB Elegance. We take a break. When we come back, we get to meet my guest, Dr. Isabella. We'll be back.
The standpoint. The standpoint.
Welcome back to the Standpoint. And yes, today we get to celebrate another amazing young woman who is truly a Ghanaian from our soil, but doing great things outside the shores of Ghana. Let me say thank you to Vena Mineral Water and Bigo Drinks for supporting us. And of course, Juice Time 100% fruit juices. Thank you to House of Food, Auntie Vera and the team. Mrs. Oforipoku and the family, we are always grateful to you. Yep Cleaning Services, they make sure that our environment is always clean. And of course, Fina Bridal and Deco for decorating and beautifying our set for us. But of course, the set was put together by Team Episode. We are so grateful to them as well. Now, my guest today is Dr. Isabella Opoku. She is a medical doctor, a neurosurgeon. Google right now and find out. Neurosurgeon. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the program.
Thank you for having me, Auntie Gifty.
I can't believe that I have you on the set.
Yes, finally.
My father will say, neurosurgeon. Easy. Who is a neurosurgeon?
A neurosurgeon is a surgeon, someone who deals with the brain, basically, and then the spine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically deal with the brain and the spine. Was it an area you always wanted to get into?
No, not at all. Actually, growing up, I wanted to be a pilot initially, and then it changed to law. And then somehow during my junior high school days, I decided, okay, I'm going to settle on science. So I read science in St. Rose's and then gained admission to Federal University of Bahia on scholarship, Brazilian government scholarship.
Okay.
So I studied medicine.
In Brazil?
Yeah, in Brazil, Salvador,
Okay.
Federal University of Bahia. And then from there, I joined the World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies. What is this? Basically, we have the Continental Association of Neurosurgeons. So we have the African chapter, we have the North America, European, Asian, and they all come under one umbrella, which is the World Federation. It's like the mother organization.
Right.
So they select some people, medical doctors, to train them to become neurosurgeons. And I was fortunate to be part of the group. In 2016, I was selected, so I started in 2017.
You started studying to become
a neurosurgeon. Yeah.
And then now you're a full-fledged neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
Practicing where?
I just arrived.
Okay.
I came in December. I came to Ghana in December.
Okay.
So, and I'm actually going back for what we call a fellowship.
Okay.
Fellowship is after neurosurgery, you subspecialize. You narrow it down to something. So, I'm going back for vascular neurosurgery. Endovascular, it's just 1 year. I'll be back.
Okay, and do what? Endovascular.
Yeah, I saw you advocating for the young lady who aneurysm. Yes. So yes, I'm going back to be treating all your aneurysm patients for you.
Wow.
I'm coming back. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now you need a lot of brain to be able to do this.
Yeah. Not exactly a lot of brain. You need a lot of resilience to be in the neurosurgical field. It's a typical masculine field, you know, and it's a field that is not for the woman, the black woman, the short black woman. So I am very
the young
black woman, short, you know. So it's a very atypical area.
Yeah. We'll get into the journey to here, but in Ghana, do you know of any female neurosurgeon?
Yeah, last year Ghana had its first locally trained brain surgeon, neurosurgeon, Dr. Mabel Banson. She's at Kolebu and she's actually a friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ghana so far we have
one
female.
Yeah, female
neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look for her later and then get to talk to her as well. But you say you're coming back?
Yeah, definitely. I'm
coming back to work here.
Yeah.
You did mention that you went to St. Rose's. Okay. What was that like growing up in Ghana?
I am from a typical Ghanaian family. Average. My mother a teacher. My father was a farmer, large-scale farmer. Grew up. I was born in Koforidua, you know. So I started preschool and primary school, Pentecost Preparatory School, and then later my mom was transferred in Koforidua. Yes. So later my mom was transferred to Akwetia. And then I attended the then Ghana Consolidated Diamond Limited JSS, senior staff, primary and JSS. So I completed my junior high school there. I was a normal kid. Well, during my junior high school, I could say I was among the best in the district, because at the time when I was in JSS 2, I represented the district and later the region, STME. We had that program at the time.
Yeah.
Science, Technology and Mathematics Education Clinic for Girls. Yes. Yeah. So I was selected. I represented the Kwaibi Brim district at the time with two other young girls. Yeah. And then later we went to the national competition. That year was held at Okuapeman Secondary School. I remember very well.
Okay.
Yes, that was the regional. So I was part of the Eastern regional team at the time. Yeah, it's been years.
The Koforidua born girl, now a neurosurgeon and part of the World Federation of Neurosurgeons.
Yeah.
Wow. What was the journey? Okay, let me take a break and come. And let me take a break. When we come back, we'll look at the journey to becoming the neurosurgeons, because I mean, you did mention being a woman, being a black woman, being a young woman, being a short woman, your own word, so yam kai, being a short woman, you know, in the field that is heavily masculine dominated.
Yeah.
It must have been a journey. Well, let me say thank you once again to Habarata Fabrics for my lace tie and dye. Thank you so much. I love it. And then Brie Redra for making my dress for me. Makeup is by HB Elegance. Thank you. And of course, my bees by Twinny Crafts. You can follow them on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter as well. I'm so grateful. And then my hair is by Auntie Alice, Skills training. I mean, people go there and they tell them they want to do it. Said, hey, it's taking how many hours? My people, it took 8 hours. So if you go there, be prepared. That if you want my hair, 8 hours. Me, I have time, pa. I have so nothing. You see, it's easy. I sucked 8 hours to braid my hair, but I'm keeping it. I'm loving it. We'll be back.
The Standpoint. The Standpoint.
Welcome back to the Standpoint, and again, yes, I'm talking to Dr. Isabella Opoku. She is a neurosurgeon going back to specialize in, okay, I'll hold on to that word, maybe once, so she can come back. But she was born in Koforidua, and now she'll be, Ghana's second, not second, she'll be part of the only two women in Ghana that are, practicing neurosurgeon. And her, okay. So how was the journey to becoming a neurosurgeon? From Brazil, so straight from Ghana to Brazil.
Yeah, well, there's a saying that when a monkey chooses a long jump for a career, it means there are lots of obstacles on the way. It's not been easy. It's been daunting. It's been teary. It's been frustrating. It's been everything that could make someone just walk out and just, abandon everything. Yeah, it's not been easy.
Can you share some of the experiences?
It's like this, when you gain admission into a specialty, usually it's parties, that's pump and pageantry. Initially, you are excited, you inform everyone, family, friends, everyone is excited for you because it's a big deal for every medical professional to get into a specialty and start training.
Right.
It's the dream of every medical doctor to specialize.
Okay.
So you initially you're excited, you get into it, and then once you start, the bumpy, rocky road starts and it hits you. Reality hits you. I have always lived in foreign countries. I was still in Brazil. Initially, when I was recruited by World Federation, I started in Brazil. And
so were you practicing as a medical doctor in Brazil?
Actually, I moved straight from medical school after internship to start my specialization.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So that's
Okay.
that's my journey. So where I was recruited, that center had a couple of Africans who had also been recruited to be trained to become brain surgeons, and there was only one female. So naturally, when you get the African sister, you cling on to the person, but we learn. Life is a process. It shouldn't have been the way I just jumped and clinged onto the person, and it was just one mistake after the other. I lost control during my training period. Yeah.
Because of the friendship.
Yeah, because of the friendship. Because what happens is when you get to a place and you seem to be getting the same attention.
Yeah.
More attention actually. All eyes roll your direction. We are two African sisters, and then one seems to be getting more attention than the other. It can be problematic, So
especially when you went to meet the other person
exactly,
there. Yeah.
Exactly. And everyone is like Isabella this, So people will start creating problems for you, And 9 months after I started training, I knew it was time to retreat. Not letting go of the dream of becoming a neurosurgeon. But sometimes you go through phases and things in life, and it gets to a point that you cannot take anymore. You have to know when you have to retreat. You know, take steps back and then re-strategize. So on the 20th of December 2017, I sought permission with a written document formally and walked out of my specialty training center in Brazil. Yes, I walked out. And I walked out with probably at the time less than $300 in my pocket. I didn't know what I was going to do. But, you know, I had my medical license. I was registered, still valid in the country. So I left the training center and then I returned back to the city where I trained to become a medical doctor, where I had my medical education. So I went back to working as a GP, as a general practitioner. When I went back to working as a GP, remember I moved straight from medical school to start my specialty training. So when I went back to being a GP, a general practitioner, I started actually earning money and seeing things that I had never experienced, you know. And so it wasn't totally a negative thing. It was a learning curve for me at that point. I needed that break. I needed to retreat and re-strategize. Because there were lots of things that were going on there which were not right. And as spoken as I was, whenever I spoke out, it landed into trouble, and you know, it was just
because you were in a strange land.
Ball.
And you're among a strange, quote unquote, strange people. You know, you made a comment about, you know, your relationship. You know, you thought you seen an African sister, so you jumped on the latch, and then you maybe you let things go. I guess that's one of the things that I think people watching us must also learn from. Sometimes you get into an environment and people sometimes show some interest and you think that they truly care about you or they truly be, but they could be the end.
And that was exactly, you know, what happened. Usually people see me and I already received the tag of, oh, she's a feminist, she hates men. But, you know, all throughout my life, all my difficulties, all my roadblocks, everything that I've been through have been always created by women. You know, sometimes with the men at the background, you know, because it will be difficult for them to come over and get you. So they send your fellow woman and then they stay at the background. You know, and if you would remember, I think the first time you and I really connected on WhatsApp, I sent you an audio. You were at an airport. It was a situation about a woman who, you know, was being inconsiderate with a raped victim, right? It was a woman, and I was just sitting back and looking at everything that was going on. I'm like, a woman doing this. And so if you have not been through situations created by women for you, you would not be able to see what Gifty Auntie is going through at that moment. I'm able to see through that because I had all my problems in my entire life has always been created by women. And then it's rather unfortunate. I get out there, people, oh, she's a neurosurgeon. She might be a feminist. Feminist. She would hate men. But that's not the situation. That's not the reality.
But I think your experience also puts you in a better situation to be, quote unquote, a feminist, because then you have the power to educate women not to be what, you know, those who have created obstacles for you, you know, to be like them. So then you also strive to be better. I tell people that I do what I do and I fight for women. I was raised by my father, you know, a man. But I do because I know that my mother, you know, was not educated. She only did what she knew. And so when you know better, you definitely will do better.
Yeah, we try as much as we can in our spaces. In fact, let me chip in this quickly. Recently, I was listening to a program that was organized, I think, by Obobia, and then Kozi, a very young politician, was invited, and she was sharing her experience, and she was saying that usually for women, for example, in the political field, those who come and vilify you and, you know, say all kinds of things and try to pull you down are the women. And when I heard that, I was listening, I think a few days ago, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised. So when we find ourselves in these positions, we must try and educate the younger women coming up. And wherever I find myself surrounded by young medical doctors. I was recently at UGMC to visit a few friends, and then young female doctors will come around. They want to become neurosurgeons, and I talk to them, you know, about my journey and what they need to do and what they should not do. You know, so we try our best to.
So at what point did you decide to go back to the training? Okay,
so I worked for a few months, and then obviously, as those situations, those painful experiences were going on, I was gathering evidences, paper, video, everything. And then eventually I forwarded it to our headquarters in Switzerland, the World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies headquarters in Switzerland. I gave them the evidence, everything that was happening to me and happening over there at the time. And they decided on a transfer. So for the first time, probably in their history, someone was transferred from one center to the other. And that's how come I landed in China, Beijing, and that was a blessing. Wow. And I will talk briefly about that.
Let me take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Beijing, experience, because that was when we connected.
Yeah.
Maybe we were supposed to connect. That's why they took you there. Because of me.
Maybe.
Watching the Standpoint, let me say thank you to Verna Mineral Water and Bigo Drink for supporting the Standpoint. Of course, Juice Time, 100% fruit juices. We are so grateful. Thank you to Fina Bridal and Decor for my beautiful set. I'm grateful to them for, decorating the set. And of course, thank you to Yep Cleaning Services. They make sure our environment is always clean and tidy. Thank you to House of Food, Auntie Vera and the team. Always grateful. And then, of course, Mrs. Oforipoko and the family. We are always grateful. We'll be back.
The Standpoint. The Standpoint.
When you see a woman of power and influence, don't underestimate her. She's really been through the valleys and the shadows and the cronies and everywhere of death. But the Lord has been with her to come this far. So do not underestimate her. Don't look at her size. Don't look at her features. Don't look at her age. She's earned her spot. Wow. So you got to Beijing.
Yeah.
And you said Beijing was a blessing.
Yeah. In December 2018, I landed in Beijing.
Did you know anybody in Beijing?
No, not at all. Not at all. So China has one neuroscience institute in the capital, that is Beijing, and that is where I was sent to start. I started my, continued actually my residency or specialty training.
Right.
And then one day I think I was 4 months into the training. I was in the ICU when one of the residents came to me and handed me some documents. I said, "What is this?" They said, the boss said you should sign. So I glanced through, I'm like, okay, then it was a scholarship to study a PhD in addition to the neurosurgery training I had originally.
Doctor too.
I'm yet to do my defense this year.
Wow.
Yes. And I didn't ask for it. I didn't even know about it. She had applied, and so I signed it, and I went to her office on the 9th floor. And then she said, go, you can do it, go. you know,
She
because
didn't even wait for
no,
you
no,
to
no,
ask.
she didn't know. I couldn't
She's
have
a
said
Chinese.
it.
She's a
Chinese woman.
woman.
Professor Ling Fang.
Yeah.
And then she said, even before I could even
Open your
try and
mouth.
say anything, she was like, no, go, you can do it. Go and combine the specialty with the PhD. You can do it, Isabella. Go, close my door. Close the door. To my left. I had no choice but to start. It was difficult initially because for PhD program, the first 2 years you go for lectures, and she even managed to schedule some of my lectures for evening after surgery. So I was rushing from the OR for lectures. And then, you know, later it gets better when you start with research, something that I actually love to do. So this happened in my first year. And then getting closer to the end.
God wanted to compensate you for all the women who had done you know, wagadre.
Yeah.
So brought another woman to just be a super blessing.
And then September that year was the World Conference, and she was hosting the World Conference in Beijing. All neurosurgeons from all over the world.
World Conference of Neurosurgeons.
Neurosurgeons. And then I was invited to be a speaker.
Huh?
But the funny thing is that the day I left the previous training center, that night I slept and I had a dream that I was standing in front of neurosurgeons in the world and speaking to them. And this was me. I had abandoned the training, but I hadn't abandoned the dream of becoming a neurosurgeon because I knew something will happen. I would have to write another exam, get myself into another specialty program or something of that sort. And I had the dream. When I woke, I was like, hey, look at my situation. I've even left because I was not really ready to accept a lot of painful things that was going on over there. And then here am I. We're about to start a world conference. And then I'm handpicked to speak. And that day, you know, all the most important neurosurgeons that you can name in Europe, Germany, Professor Sami, and all the big names in the world that you can imagine were seated, ready to listen to my speech at the World Conference. At the World Conference in Beijing 2019, I was one of the speakers. And
so the speech, you wrote it yourself?
Yeah, I wrote it myself. I went very early in the morning, I remember. I got there. And there's this man who actually masterminded my transfer to Beijing. He's the president of the Continental Association of African Neurosurgeons, Professor Mahmoud Qureshi. He also arrived very early. He's like the boss of all neurosurgeons on the African continent. He got to know my plight. And the documents I had, you know, these people are not fools.
Yeah.
If you're telling them a story that something had happened to you, this and this, you proof, you know, for them to give you that kind of backing and say, Isabella, we're going to transfer you. Don't cry anymore. That was what happened. He also arrived that day very early at the conference center. So I went there with my paper and with my speech and I said, Professor Mahmoud, do you want to do any corrections for me? So he took the paper and did some corrections for me. And there I was standing in front of the big names in the world that you can think of and speaking to them.
How was the feeling?
I think I cannot remember much of my speech. I was there, but I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there.
You know, I could not feel my feet. You know, that kind of situation. But it was
girl born in Koforidua.
It was good.
Standing in front of renowned names in the neurosurgeon, you know,
world conference.
As
a speaker. And the funny thing is that I had just started. I was a baby. I wasn't even a neurosurgeon yet. I was still training. And I was one of the newest people on the block. And here I was selected to be part of the speakers. And
do you believe in the saying, God works in mysterious ways?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that what happened in Brazil, if it hadn't happened, you were there, do you think you would have had this opportunity?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I always say that I don't regret anything that went on in
as
that
painful
center.
as it is.
Yes, I had
now
to go
it
through
will
that.
make sense. That
I had to go through. I needed that because look, what would have been my story? Going through a rosy specialty training. I'm that kind of person who just writes in the exams and just sail through. And then you go and then you are training and then you come out as a very probably arrogant neurosurgeon. You've not been through the pain. You've not been through the process that will sharpen you. You've not been through the process of, you know, you've not, you know, you will not even be able to understand the plight of other people. Because I was literally at the mercy of other people with my hands up asking for help. You know,
Yeah.
and today I'm able to acknowledge when other people are going through similar situations, whether it's in the medical field or not.
Wow. And here you are today.
Yeah.
Qualified.
And we are not even done yet.
Done yet.
In July.
Yeah.
In July 2022.
Yeah.
I was the first resident neurosurgeon. A resident neurosurgeon is someone who is still under training. That's how they call us. To be gazetted by World Federation. I hadn't completed my training. I had a year and a half to go, but I was gazetted by the highest organization of the neurosurgical fraternity in the world. I was on their website. At the time, the former Ghana's ambassador to China. Edward Boateng, His Excellency, was there. He picked up the story for YFM and UTV, and that's how come it landed on Ghana Web. And all the other platforms picked it up. I was also handpicked. They said, we are going to gazette you. I'm like, me?
And you were the first resident neurosurgeon.
Let's even qualify it. A trainee neurosurgeon. I'm not a neurosurgeon yet.
You're the first trainee neurosurgeon to be gazetted. First in the history of the fraternity.
Yes.
To be gazetted.
Because if you're not a neurosurgeon, you cannot be gazetted.
Wow.
You cannot be gazetted.
Wow.
And I was gazetted with a neurosurgeon in Russia, and even Professor Mahmoud himself were in the same edition. The president of the Continental Association of African Neurosurgery, he was in that edition. And then with a very renowned neurosurgeon in Russia who has practiced neurosurgery for over 60 years. These men are over 80 plus, going into their 90s.
And they were gazetted
together with
you.
With me. And I still cannot understand why it happened or even how it happened. I still really cannot understand anything.
I'm tempted to say your mother prayed some prayer, Bia. It's working for you. I think your mother prayed and your father, maybe your mother and father prayed some prayers that are really working for you, because this one doesn't make sense. You know, not only are you the first, you are actually African, you are a woman. You know, as you say, you are black. You are short.
I'm short. I'm very short. I'm on a high heel.
Yes, I know. I mean, to have these, you know, historic and landmark experiences given to you in an, you know, a space where it's heavily masculine dominated.
And the funny thing is that when I left my center, everyone thought, say, that's her end.
That's it, you're done.
That's her end.
That
we are done with her.
Yeah.
She will not be able to compete with me. I'm going to graduate as the only female from that center. She's not going to be the second. Like we were two, so I had to add up to her.
Yeah.
No, I'm done with her. We know. In Ghana, we say you are finished.
You are finished.
Yes, that was what everyone thought.
Anyway, but let me be a bit petty. Has she been gazetted yet?
No, she cannot be gazetted. We don't just gazette like that.
Does she know that you've been gazetted?
She knows. It was. We have a common WhatsApp platform and Telegram platform. It was all over. They posted all over.
Okay.
And the men behind her, there were about two guys who really wanted me out of the place. I saw them peeping into my Instagram when we have that how do they call it? Status.
Status, yes.
When I post, they will come and then watch. So I see that they come. They visit my profile. Yeah, my Instagram handle.
That's what you call show them.
Yeah,
keep putting it there, la. Cho.
They come. I don't know even how they found my handle. neurosurgeon
Oh, they will
Isabella, they
find.
come and then they watch
There's no
everything
one
I post.
who is more interested in you than the person who wants your downfall and is still frustrated about how come you are not falling down
Yeah.
as they are pushing.
I took screenshots of them. Anytime I see them come visit my page, you know, you will see. So I take screenshots of them. I would keep them.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We are so proud of you.
Thank you.
Are your parents still alive?
Yeah.
What
my
did they think
parents
of
are-
you?
Oh my God. My mom will tell everybody what her daughter does. My father is super, super proud of me. Yeah, I went to Koforidua to see him.
You have, so how many siblings do you have?
Well, my dad, 10, we are 10.
Okay.
We are 10. I'm 9.
You're number
Ninth of
nine.
the yeah.
Okay, but
ninth
your
born.
mom,
My mom has 5.
Okay.
5 with my dad.
Oh, with your
Yeah,
dad.
and I'm
okay.
the 4th.
On the
yeah.
4th. Okay, so you're 9. Okay.
large
Ninth born.
family.
You know, there must be something special about that number 9, you know. Congratulations. So what is next for you? What is the big picture for you?
Well, the big picture is finishing my fellowship in vascular neurosurgery. You have been advocating for aneurysm patients in Ghana. And unfortunately, we don't have any vascular neurosurgeon in Ghana yet to treat all our strokes and you know, aneurysms and all. It's really very hard. So I'm leaving next month to start my fellowship in vascular neurosurgery. I'll be back by December, January. I'll be back because fellowship is usually a very short training, practical training. Yes.
Right.
And that's
wow. And you'll be defending your second doctorate.
my PhD.
Your
this
PhD.
year. Yeah.
Your
Hopefully
PhD
by
this year.
June I should be done.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know me, I love titles. Doctor
Neurosurgeon.
Wouldn't imagine did that, but the back account rough like that when you come back, you know, and we'll to have a program to talk deep about, you know, how we should take care of women and, you know, aneurysm and, you know, the strokes and all that. What me tell God should give us life and strength and everything so we can talk about it. But we are so proud of you. I am so proud of you. It's been tough, but you are here. You made it by the grace of God.
Yeah.
Do you love singing?
No, I love listening to music, but not singing. I don't have a good voice.
Because your voice is just like mine. It's terrible like me. Okay, so but what's your favorite song? Gospel song. We won't sing, you know, just tell me.
Wow.
When you're really down and or you look back and you see all that you've been through and today you are here.
Wow. I listen to all kinds of music, but I think Dasibri Dramina, I'm a very high life kind of person. Yeah.
Okay.
Daddy Lumba. Right now I cannot remember, but any of their songs. Yeah.
But what about the gospel?
Well.
Yeah, what time quite sorry.
Oh,
what time quite sorry.
Sorry, but I'm not so. I think Domwen. I listen to Domwen.
Okay.
Yeah, Domwen.
All right. Okay. So congratulations. I wish you the best, and we know that and pray that God will open more doors for you, so that by the time you come back from this fellowship, not only are you going to tell us about the fellowship, but another door that opened, you know. But whatever it is, wallahi, don't let them steal you. Please. Whatever they tell you they want to come do for you, tell them that they should come with you to come establish in Ghana, and you heard it in Ghana, right? As if you know, I can guarantee everything for you now. But congrats. But what are your final words to that young lady watching you today, who is also dreaming and is afraid of the potholes and the manholes and the thorns on the way? That you went to St. Rose's.
St. Rose's.
And every rose has a thorn.
Yes. What I would say is they should remember that purpose over trend. Purpose in life. These days, we are in the social media age where people are throwing all kinds of things about. But, you know, people must be focused on their purpose in life and then have a lot of resilience, you know, in the surgical field in general. If you want to survive, you must have a spirit of resilience to withstand adversity, because those adversities will come. but it's your spirit of resilience and God who see you through, like He did for me.
Amen, like He did for you. Well, we of the Standpoint, we are so proud of you. And we don't have much, but we have a little token. So on behalf of Vena Mineral Water Trinium Ghana, we just have a pack of water and some bigger drinks for you.
Thank you.
To take. And then there is this beautiful one that you should take with you when you are going for the fellowship.
Oh, wow.
Tie-dye Yakoa.
Wow, very traditional.
Open it and you see what it is.
How do I open this?
Yes, Sue.
Hey.
You open on the side.
On the side. Oh, wow.
Open it and you see.
Oh, wow.
You see?
Like a queen.
Like you are a queen in your own right. You are a queen.
Like a queen.
We say we are proud
Thank
of you.
you.
This is just symbolic to say that
Thank
Ayiko,
Thank you.
Ayiko.
That's-
Because of you, many young people can too. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'll be back with a bit of me. Women, women. Sometimes you just don't know what to say. But listen, I refuse to accept that women are their own enemies. I refuse to accept that women are their own competitors or whatever it is. But listen, there's some of us who need to really properly empower ourselves or get empowered. We need to stand by each other. We need to have our own tribe of friends. We need to be that woman that another woman can trust. Why do we need to betray each other just so we become relevant? Why do we take so much joy in being the only woman who's done that? The only woman that's that? What is your worth? If you can't give your shoulders to another woman to stand on so she can see further? Why do we sometimes find ourselves talking, making all the noise, and yet the action doesn't show of what we speak of? It's sometimes frustrating, it's sometimes heartbreaking when you're fighting so hard to defend women. And then you look back and the very person pushing you down is another woman. It's tough. If we know better, we do better. Maybe before I became this empowered, maybe I had done it before. Maybe unconsciously I even do it for other people. But we need to be intentional and deliberate about supporting women, especially the younger ones. We need to be intentional. We need to be, listen, you have no right condemning a young woman when you have not invested in that young woman's life. When he said invested, I mean in terms of motivating, mentoring, being an example, speaking your truth to that person. You have no right. Let's celebrate each other. Let's hold each other. When one falls, let's reach out and try to cover her shame and pull her up. Not to cover up for wrongdoings, but to be of support, to understand that we get you. You can do better. You can revamp. You can come back. You can revitalize. Let us not give up on each other. Let us not give up on a woman. Let's learn to be happy for a woman who seems to have it all. Let us use that to encourage ourselves that if she's done it, we can do it too. I still refuse to accept that women are their own enemies. They are not. I refuse to accept that women are too competitive. We are not. Because men also do it. Maybe it's not played up in the public domain, but I am advocating, let's close our ranks. Let's be there for each other. Let's support each other. Let's learn to hold each other's hands. And together, we will all succeed. I remain a woman with super crazy faith in God. I've been pushed, I've been battered, I've been whatever it is. But by the grace of God, I am standing because some women have also believed in me and held me up. I've stood on the shoulders of some women, and so I have also opened my shoulders for other women to stand on so they can see further than I can ever see. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.